This video is from the Life Universe correspondent, reporting news of Life Universe. Che-heom, of connecting and becoming one with the universe. The purpose, principles, and basic methods of Che-heom. The purpose of Che-heom. Our purpose is to transform our imperfect material body of Sigong, time and space, into a perfect energy body, a body of light, of subtle space. It is also to awaken ourselves. The principles of Che-heom. Waves arise due to the interplay of yin and yang. Yin and yang coexist constantly in a dynamic tension, simultaneously embodying both mutual generation and restraint, harmony and conflict. This interplay creates the waves. Then, to eliminate waves, yin and yang would have to cease to exist. If we regard yin and yang as matter, we can see them as particles. When the two move, they appear as waves. Yin and yang take turns prevailing over each other. In this way, they naturally rise and fall, forming waves. The same applies to the body. There is the body, in the form of the coarsest and heaviest molecular state, and there is the body, in a more subtle form, such as at the atomic level, fine particles, ultrafine particles, yin and yang, and even beyond the muguk, 0 point, unity of yin and yang. My body exists in all of these forms. If we exist in such a subtle body, we cannot die, even if we want to. Once we reach that state, we've transcended life and death. Even if we try not to escape them, we inevitably do. The material body is the weakest, in terms of life force. Therefore, our goal is not merely to make this body healthy and live longer. Rather, we transcend that dimension, transforming the body of the coarse molecular material world into a fine particle body, and further into a subtle state of the Young One universe, eternal universe body beyond the muguk and the absolute musicong. For reference, we continue to explore the subtle universes, from the muguk, relative musicong, absolute musicong, Sangmyung universe, life universe, all the way to the Young One universe, eternal universe. We are not doing training. It's not about practicing for thousands of years to reach the muguk. If our mind is aligned with absolute positivity, we are already there. But if our mind is divided by dualism, we're at the lowest level. In this, there is no concept of time or space. So as long as we keep the absolute positive mind, our body transforms in an instant. So what happens then? At that point, it means we can even travel through the universe. If mind and matter are one, if mind and body are truly united, then we can go not only across the galaxy, but all the way to the edge of the universe, and return with our mind, right here and now. The mind moves at speeds, thousands or even tens of thousands of times faster than the speed of light. Even if we say we have traveled to the stars with our mind, it looks as if we haven't moved, because of this heavy material body. But in truth, though we may not feel it clearly, our subtle energetic body has already been there and back. So, if one day we shed this material body, then going would truly mean we've gone, and returning would truly mean we've returned. So that's why, by any means, we must quickly dissolve this physical body. But can we do it alone? No, we do it together, with all living beings in the entire universe, united in the absolute positive mind. For this reason, we come together as one, and do Che-heom. Since the universe is changing in that way, all we need to do is align ourselves with it, and move forward together. The methods for Che-heom: first, relaxing the whole body. This Qigong molecular world is the roughest, and beyond the Muguk is what we call the subtle realm. The substances in the subtle realm of Muguk descend and accumulate into this Qigong material world below. They keep coming down and piling up due to the mind that separates and divides. The very moment separation occurs, the substances fall into the coarse world. The further they descend, the heavier, darker, and colder they become. The same phenomenon can be found in the human body. A healthy person feels light in the body, while a sick person is said to feel their body as entirely heavy. I said that over 90% of the most clogged parts in the human body are in the head. In fact, it would be accurate to say that the head is 100% clogged. The reason the head gets blocked is that every human is constantly thinking, and especially when one holds on to negative thoughts and a mind of separation. The subtle substances of that realm keep accumulating in the head until the entire body becomes blocked. This is why you are told to first focus on your feet and hands during Che-heom. When you do this practice, the blockages in the head are released and flow downward. But what do you think happens if you don't release the hands and feet at that time? Since the lower part is blocked, the blockage pushes back up to the top. While it melts and flows down from above, the bottom is blocked and has nowhere to release, causing pain. Once the blockage in the head starts to dissolve and flow downward, the lower part cannot handle it. So you are always advised to do Che-heom by releasing the hands and feet first. That's why we focus more than 70% on the soles of the feet during Che-heom. We have to create the pathway centered on the feet. Only when the foot pathway is well formed can the release flow naturally from the head throughout the whole body. The most fundamental pathway is the feet. We focus on the feet, saying, from the head to the toe, everything is connected. The pathway must first open at the soles of the feet. Then the pathways for the palms of the hands, the tailbone, and the perineum must open in order. Only then does the body begin to release its blockages. In the process of melting and transforming the body, the release always flows from the top downward. If the pathway below is narrow, it becomes an obstacle for what melts from above to flow down. That's why the lower part must be kept open and unblocked. And completely release all tension and always stay in a relaxed state. For those with weaker concentration, do not try to do Che-heom both feet at the same time, but start by focusing on just one foot. To strengthen concentration, choose the smallest possible area and keep your focus continuously on that one single spot. For example, if it is the Yangchen, bubbling spring point, on one foot. Imagine placing a single dot there, and focus your mind entirely on that spot. We say we are concentrating, but at first, our concentration tends to scatter. In less than a minute, the mind drifts off somewhere else. When that happens, you just need to bring your mind back. At the beginning, you may only be able to focus on the soul for 1 minute. But as you keep practicing, that concentration can extend from 1 minute to 10 minutes and eventually even to an hour without your focus breaking. What we are cultivating is the kind of focus where the mind does not get dispersed elsewhere. That is the absolute concentration. The absolute positive mind itself is that concentration. Concentration is considered important in school, society, and everyday life. Since human cells are always in a state of tension, concentration is hard to maintain, and many thoughts arise, causing us to live in confusion. That's why the relaxed concentration we aim to cultivate is for the purpose of maintaining il-1-shim. We also need to develop concentration in order to open all four pathways. So the first step is to give the command to your cells, connected from head to toe, and then focus unconditionally on the soles of your feet. Some people experience better flow on the left side, while the right side feels clogged, and for others, the right flows well, while the left feels clogged. These differences vary from person to person. In that case, first focus on the side where the feeling is weaker. Keep concentrating until both the side you're focusing on and the opposite side are felt more strongly than before. This balance allows the body to release more effectively. It's the same when doing Che-heom with the hands. Sometimes the right hand, and at other times the left hand, feels more open. If one side feels weaker, focus there. The same goes for the tailbone and the perineum. Some people feel the tailbone is well open, but the perineum is clogged, giving them a sense of heaviness or fullness in the lower abdomen. In that case, focus on the perineum. When all four of these pathways feel completely free of any blockage, the body naturally begins to release on its own. While focusing mainly on the feet, you also do Che-heom with the tailbone, perineum, and palms. As you continue to implement Che-heom, a heavy feeling may return to your legs. When that happens, simply focus again on the feet, until the heaviness disappears to release the body. Second, the method of opening the body in a cross shape. Doing Che-heom for opening not only in the four main pathways in the body, but also in four directions, helps the body to release. For example, you begin to do Che-heom by opening the head in four directions, in the shape of a cross. Starting from the top of the head, the flow goes backward through the spine to the tailbone, forward through the chest to the perineum, and to both sides through the hands and feet. In this way, it connects in a cross from above the head and extends down the body, hands, and feet, in the same cross shape. When this happens, the body opens up and begins to release. Originally, whether a person trains or not, everyone is born with all the basic pathways open in their bodies. But as we live, these pathways gradually become clogged. This is due to the perspective of Qigong, time and space. Once the pathways become blocked, aging, illness, and death begin to approach. Through the continuous Che-heom, all the main pathways gradually open in the body. At the same time, the body continues to expand, and we come to realize that the self already exists in the Young One universe, eternal universe, beyond Muguk. When we reach that state, our body opens and connects in all directions. For beginners, start by focusing on the feet and use this method of opening in four directions to do Che-heom. Mindset during Che-heom. We must clearly understand that the fundamental principle of our Che-heom is different from other forms of training in Qigong, time and space. And we must do Che-heom with that awareness. The trainings in Qigong are all about keeping and taking care of this material body, whereas we aim to dissolve and transcend this imperfect body by any means. The training in Qigong is all based on the idea of filling inward, like filling with energy. This notion of filling itself comes from the perspective of Qigong, time and space. On the other hand, there is also the concept of emptying. But whether one is filling or emptying, they are still acknowledging the existence of themselves, as viewing them as a vessel. To put it more concretely, Qigong, time and space, may differ in method eventually. But in essence, they both acknowledge the existence of themselves in the material world. And with that, it can never be truly resolved. We are not trying to fill or empty ourselves, nor are we seeking to die and have the soul go to a better place. What we are doing is breaking through and opening the boundaries of both body and mind. And rather than circulating energy, we are opening the body's pathways and releasing everything downward. If we understand the fundamental difference between our study and others, and the coarse molecular material body is transformed, our body already turns into the light of a subtle space. When that light enters the atomic state, everything up to the muguk becomes light. And light itself keeps transforming. The more powerfully that light continues to transform, the more our body changes and enters into the realm of subtle energy space. Please keep in mind that our goal is not to fall into mysticism, but to thoroughly transcend the imperfect material body, and ultimately transform into a perfect energy body. Thank you, from the Life Universe correspondent.
반짝이는 빛 따라 새 지구 왔단다.